The bids are in, the gavels drop. Ladies and gentlemen, here at WineBid, we are finally hammered. That's right. This is WineBid's podcast, dedicated to all things wine value, wine retail, wine auctions, and just wine. My name is Jeff Gurn. I'm WineBid marketing team. With me, as always, is our wine expert, Paul, the Paragon of Pasito Walker. Welcome to the podcast, Paul. It's always a treat to do podcasts with me for you. Anyway.
No, you're very on fire today.
That's right. I'm starting with a little bit of sass.
Okay.
Let me just say it was a really interesting auction weekend. We're going to be recapping the auction that ended at 7 p.m. Pacific time on July 21st, 2024, which was last night. A lot of really interesting stuff happened. We had some interesting movers, but we're always going to start out with a little game. Where is the biggest mover from? Did you cheat, Paul? Did you cheat?
I was just scrambling to try and cheat right now, but I did want to say too, when you say mover, you usually means something that has started at a low reserve and gotten multiple bids to
yes,
a very high hammer in the end of the auction.
Yes, okay. That's right. We had one bottle that, one bottle which increased in price 175%. I do not think you will possibly identify the location. This is not in what I would call one of our top few wine region.
Well, there was a lot of kind of more obscure but collectible stuff in last week. I'm not going to say Jura because that seems to be typical. I'm not going to say Loire, but what about maybe Austria or Germany?
When I say region, I mean like AVA, right? Like this one. Oh,
I see. So it's like maybe a typical country, but not a typical region.
Correct.
Okay. So was it in France?
No, it was U.S.
U.S. Okay. Was it Northwest?
No.
Was it California?
It was in California.
Okay, but lesser known area.
Yeah, I would say an area that maybe is not as known for movements like this, but it is a wine region, right? They have good
Sierra foothills or Central Coast somewhere, or I have no idea.
Central California.
Okay.
Normally you'd think like Paso, but this actually is right next to Paso, San Luis Obispo.
Oh, interesting. Huh.
1980, John Walker and Co. San Luis Obispo County Pinot Noir started at $20, hammered at 55.
Really?
Yeah. Typically known for his Scotch, John Walker apparently made a little bit of Pinot Noir in San Luis Obispo back in the 80s.
John Walker Pinot Noir. Wow. That's I would never, ever would have guessed that.
I would never have either. Number two actually comes to us from Australia. Yeah, 1996 Elderton Golden Semillon. Well, started at 20. Went up to 51 for 155.
Man, that's crazy. I mean, Elderton's, we see the Command Shiraz in a lot. We see some of their other red wines. And I feel like we've seen, late harvest stuff, which I'm making an assumption this is late harvest Semillon. I mean, if it's dry Semillon, it looks like it might be a little over the hill in terms of color. But hey, I'm sure the inspectors checked it out, and I'm sure it is a late harvest wine. That's funny. I never, ever would have guessed that either. I mean, yeah, so SLO and Australian Semillon. Okay, what's next?
Next is this one I thought was really interesting. Well, I mean, it's not that interesting when you think about it. 2008 Fontoti Chianti Classico. I love Fontoti. I love their Chianti Classico. But it started at 20, which $20 for Fontoti Chianti Classico is extremely low.
But that's also not terribly surprising that it started. That's probably where it was last time it was an auction, I imagine.
Most likely. And then it hammered at $46, right? So
yeah, it hammered for $25 in June earlier, last month. So
and now people are going like, wow, that's $50, $40-$50 retail. So maybe 20 is a really good deal.
That's so funny. That's one of those examples. We've been talking about these a lot where it's something in the auction, because I just looked at it for fun. This wine was in the auction and looks like multiple bottles from the same consignment that started in June 23rd was the first week. And they sold for 25. The following week sold for 25, multiple bottles. The following week sold for 25. And then look what happens. A month passes and they go absolutely through the roof. So
they go bonkers, right? Number 4 was this 1974 Chapelet Vineyards Merlot.
Oh, I was tracking that. I was like, oh, that's a good deal for a 74 because I'm always chasing those. But what did it hammer for?
206. Started at 95.
It was still less than the Cabernet because there was a bottle of 74 Cabernet. I think, no, it was in last week. And I'm sure it was 3 something.
I mean, I shouldn't be surprised, but I was a little bit surprised to see that one go up 116.84.
Well, yeah, I mean, that also think about how rare that is. That's the production of the Merlot has got to be way less than the Cabernet. And now, I hate to say it, 50 years later, it's got to be exceedingly rare. So not too surprised.
I also think that that bottle looked pretty good.
Yeah. In great shape.
Yeah. And the last time we saw this was, 2013.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's the last time we sold it before.
More than 10 years ago. Yeah.
So 10 years ago.
That's not too surprising.
And I think this one was in much better condition than the 2013 bottle as well. So,
yeah,
there are those things to consider. The next one would be this 1990 Chateau d'Arche. Started at $30, 6 bids, took it at $64 for 113.33% increase. Is it d'Arche?
D'Arche. Yeah, just d'Arche, just one syllable.
This Sauterne, 90 is a great year. That's probably absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I think it's one of my picks actually, because there were like the current week, oddly enough, there were a bunch of great Sauternes in last week as well. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, there are half bottles of d'Arche, maybe even from, no, I don't know about 90, but definitely from at least somewhere in that area. I'm going to look it up right now.
This one actually was really surprising me because it's a newer vintage. A more recent vintage, rather. 2018 William Silliam Luella's Garden Estate Vineyard Pinot Noir Magnum had 3 bids taken from 120 to 230 for
wow.
90, almost 92% increase.
And you said 2018 Luella's Garden?
Exactly. 2018.
That's surprising because William Silliam Magnums are kind of, I would say, always super, super underpriced in the auction. They seem to go for, way less than winery prices, but that's quite expensive because the 750, it hasn't been in for a while, but it hammered at 60. So the mag price was based on, or I should say the mag reserve was based on, double the 750 price, which sometimes is even higher than it actually hammers for. So 230 is pretty surprising.
Well, and that's exactly it, right? It's pretty rare you see this much movement on something.
Yeah, that's right. Very curious because there were a handful of magnums of William Silliam in last week. I don't even think they even all sold. 2015
Ronco del.
The Italian Chardonnay.
Yes.
Yeah, this is good stuff.
Started at 36 bids, took it to 55.50.
Yeah, that's a tricky one to pronounce too. Ronco del Vietnamese, Colli Orientale, Ronco Basso. This is great. Yeah, there's multiple labels, but great wines, hard to find. It's like limited allocation, I think, at retail. So once they're out of retail, it's like, I think restaurants get them, but really, really tasty stuff. Really good.
I'll mention a couple more and then maybe you can walk us through some of the big winners. But like this 97 Simon Hackett, Anthony's limited release Reserve Shiraz, started at 25, 2 bids took it to 46. And then
what was the producer again on that?
Simon Hackett. Yeah. And then in 01, Forstmeister, Gelselichen, Saarburger, Rausch Riesling Cabernet. Started at 20, hammered at 36 for an 80% increase. And then this 02A Raffinelli Zinfandel started at 40, went to 71.
Really? For the 02?
Yeah, for the
wow.
02. All the way to 71.
I always pick those just because I don't know, my dad was on the mailing list forever and ever. So it's fun to see some of the older ones get bid up. And I noticed there's an older one in the current auction, but that's got to be a record for us for Raffinelli Zen.
Yeah. And then there's this 2018 Von Winning Ozietra Riesling number 0. Started at 85, 3 bids took it to 146, or 2 bottles to 146.
Wow. That's again gotta be. Now what vintage was that?
18.
2018 Von Winning. I guess it's one Winning. Ozietra.
Yeah.
Huh. That's
Yeah.
wild.
And we had two number zero. We had two in auction. One sold for 141, and one sold for 151.
That's amazing.
So it was like an average of 146, I guess. That was pretty crazy to see that big of a.
Yeah, it's got to be a super limited, bottling. It's got a crazy label too. It's like kind of a psychedelic label. It's really, really interesting. Wild.
Walk us through
some heavy hitters. Yeah, so they're the famous Judgment of Paris Stag's Leap Wine Cellars SLV, or Stag's Leap Vineyard. Cabernet was in last week. Believe we mentioned it as one of the standout lots in the auction, hammered for 58.65, which I believe was that a most recent record for us? I'll double check just to make sure. No, it's not. It's gone for 75.90. Actually, it's gone for over 10, excuse me. But that's the last couple hammers earlier in the year, and then late last year were the same number, 58.65. So that price is holding, it appears. Let's see, we talked about the Duclos collections that were in. There was a 10 in last week, and I think the 2010 Duclos Cask Collection. So that's the first growth plus Cheval Blanc, Petrus, Decem, and La Mission Aubryon, 9-bottle boxed collection sold for $93.45. 15 Harlan 3-pack of mags hammered for $63.60. So those are going for over $2,000 a piece, which is, we were talking, I think we talked about the 2020 last week. So some of these younger vintages, I still consider 2015 relatively young. It's less than 10 years old. But anyway, these younger vintages are fetching pretty big numbers, especially, not tremendously long after release, which did not used to happen for some of these, for lack of a better term, cult wines from Napa. Anyway, there's 61 Latour last week that hammered for $39.50. 19 Petrus hammered for $3,600. There was a handful of really nice DRC in the auction, including a 16 Romanée-Conti Vineyard, which hammered for $15,500. I was going to kind of take a gander at that price and see if that has been exceeded in recent times, but I don't think so. I think, earlier in the year, very beginning of the year, actually, it hammered for $14,950. And both bottles in perfect condition. So the price is going up a little bit there. Okay, so anything else super interesting? That Bollinger Grandonnay 3-liter we were talking about, there were two of those, a couple of bids. It looks like they started at $10.60 and got bid up to $15.50, it looks like. So that was exciting. Pingus 2021 Magnum, two of those as well. They both hammer for $1,500. Like I said, there were multiple bottles of La Tâche and other vineyards for Romanée-Conti in last week. 82 Petrus hammered at $28.40. Any other big standouts? 2000 Cheval Blanc, 3 of those sold. Looks like all for just a little bit over $800 a piece. Yeah, Pingus was really going for it last week. There was quite a bit of it. I know the Florida Pingus all sold right away. And then there was a little bit of the flagship label left over, but young vintages, and they move pretty quickly. I think there might be a little bit left, but anyway, that Bizo we also mentioned as one of our Burgundy picks got bid up. It looks like started at 1,700 and got bid up to 2,000. And that was a 2005 vintage. So, some of those Bizo prices have actually kind of softened. We had a batch of it in not too long ago, and they were doing pretty well, but not this well. So interesting to see some of these, sort of cult status wines get bid back up again to, what do you call it, pandemic pricing or something. But yeah, another 85. There was some more 85 Sassicaia that sold, 74 Heights Marthas. It looks like one of them sold for $19.15. So that seems to have dropped a little bit in price. That 2020 00 wines Corton Charlemagne, looks like 2 of those sold at $900. So that price is holding, because I know it went in 2 weeks ago, and we had talked about it again as being one of the more expensive Corton Charlemagnes in the auction. And it did, in fact, sell at that original reserve, which was also this hammered before for the same price. So anyway, those 00 Burgundies are very hot. 13 Salon, no surprises there, hammering at 900 a piece. 82 Pichon Milan, that was another one, Jeff, that you had mentioned. You kind of were curious to see where the prices were going with these. Yeah. There's been quite a few of them in auction, but the bottle I think that was in last week was in perfect condition, but 3 of them sold for $595, which is kind of funny because in last week, one of them hammered for $625. So it's no real accounting for that. But anyway, it seems to be pushing 600 and probably will keep going up, I would imagine, as time goes by. So anyway, I don't know if there are any other kind of high value hammers you wanted to mention, but
no, let's jump into picks for the week.
Sure. I did want to say too that those Rayos we mentioned, there was a pair of 11 Rayos, red and white, and they all sold. I don't think they got multiple bids. In fact, I think there might be one of the whites left over. Yeah, there is another one left over if anyone wants it. So anyway, $430 for that, and then the 11 red sold for $875.
Let's talk about some of the stuff that has come into auction last night and is available to bid on.
Sure.
This week. This is the auction week ending July 28th at 7 p.m. Pacific time, 2024. So everything we mention, you can bid on until, again, July 28th, 2024 at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm going to start in the U.S. because we did have a lot of interesting U.S. we had a lot of really cool wine come into auction. So hopefully we can cover a lot of ground.
I just want to say, because we did get advance notice on this, most of the wines, obviously, that Jeff and I picked, we're picking these right as the auction starts Sunday night and Monday morning. But there are wines added to auction later in the week. And when I say later, I usually mean at least by Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at the latest in general. And we do know that there's a collection of wines being added a little bit later this week, maybe today, tomorrow. So always check your favorites or, your tracked wines. And if you don't get, like an email of your favorites of things that you're looking for, it pays to check the auction again a little bit later because things are added through the week. So I just wanted to mention that.
Absolutely. Very true. Great thing to note. With that, I want to run in to some of the stuff that we see. I'm not going to go through all of it. There's a sea of Cinnaconan. There's like 57 lots of Cinnaconan.
Did you notice, though, I did want to point out, as I interrupt you again, that there's the 01 Midnight Oil and the 04 Poker Face. I think the Poker Face originally got 100 points and was re-rated. I want to double check that. But anyway, they were kind of a very big deal back in the day. I feel like now, all these years later, obviously the Poker Face is 20 years old. The Midnight Oil is like 23 years old. They're not horrifically expensive, $435 for the Midnight Oil and $465 for the Poker Face. So they didn't get like the super high prices that some of the 100-point wines did, but I would still say that these are collectible and relative values, if you will, for 20-plus-year-old Cinnaconan. So anyway,
look, if you're chasing points, I mean,
we got plenty of 100-pointers too.
Yeah, non-Atlantis FE 203 Syrah is actually 405. He's got 100 points from Robert Parker. The in the Crosshairs Grenache, that one is 710, but it's like double 100 points. So but there's plenty of 100-point wines.
Right.
On in there if you're interested in that. Well, another one that I thought was really interesting, especially after some of the wines we've been having, some of the Eiseles you've been having recently. 78 Joseph Phelps Eisele Cabernet Sauvignon for $8.
Yes, yeah.
Really curious to see where that lands.
That's a big one.
Yeah, that's a big one. I felt like the bottle looked pretty decent to me.
Yeah, looks great.
It actually, look, you know what? It already has a bid.
There you go.
It already has a bid from
the finally hammer effect happening as we speak.
Somebody heard us before we even finished recording the show and
put a bid on
it. Along those lines, there's some really interesting insignia from the 90s, 2000s, and then there's an 05 3-liter insignia.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of 3 liters.
A whole bunch of 3-liter. So
that's amazing.
There's a bunch of cool large format insignia that I thought was just really interesting. So
yeah, and the prices too are all over the place. Like I thought the 13 3-liter for $770 was a great deal when you consider, some like slightly older vintages like '07 was 945 for the 3 liter. And that's obviously based on the strength of, what the 750 is hammered for. So I thought the 13 wasn't bad for 770.
2010, 760. I mean, you can get some really cool large format insignias. Yeah. So I thought the large format stuff was cool. 95 Colgin Herblam Vineyard Cabernet Sauvignon for 330. Yeah.
That was one of my picks as well. Then there's a whole bunch of other Colgin too.
There's a whole bunch of them. 96 Ridge Monte Bello for 360. I didn't think that was too crazy. It's not that much more than what you're, paying for Ridge anyway. The 82 Ridge Park, this I thought was cool. 82 Ridge Park Muscatine Zinfandel ATP has a bid on it. Started at 150, is already at 160. So I thought that was really interesting, this old Zinfandel, 42-year-old Zinfandel. I also picked out, we have 9 of them, 94 Beringer Private Reserve Cabernet Sauvignon for 125. And this is only because I was having a conversation with somebody about Beringer the other day, and like, Beringer Private Reserve is like $100 now, right? At retail, it's like, okay, for $25 more, fine. Get one from an epic vintage that's like, absolutely beautiful. There's a bunch of Marcassin, like 36 lots of Marcassin that I'm not going to go through all of them, but there's a lot there. Chards, Pinots. There's a bunch of Kistler, 57 lots of Kistler. Again, Chards, Pinots. I want to say, did I see like a cab in there somewhere too or something? I may have. But
what? Cabernet what?
Maybe
Mr. Cabernet?
No, I didn't see a cab. There was something
Might
else.
Be. They made it, but I don't think they make it anymore.
There's a bunch of Costa.
Costa Brown, yeah.
Costa Brown in auction as well. I picked out the 2016 Pride Mountain Cabernet Franc. We've got 4 of them. They all have bids, $35. Right? Like of
That's
course,
a steal.
That's it. Well, 36 now. I also picked up this 1969 Beaujolais Vineyard Cabernet Sauvignon for 215. That is a beautiful wine, drinking really well, has stood up really well, in my opinion. 1967 Arajo Estate Eisele Vineyard Cabernet Sauvignon. 1997 Arajo Estate Eisele Vineyard Cabernet Sauvignon. We have 2 of them. One has a bid on it. They're 150.
We just had that wine a few days ago.
Yeah, and it was amazing.
Very good. It's interesting to see those prices because they vary greatly between those vintages just right next to each other. Like 94 has always been expensive. 95 is not far behind it, but I thought 96 and 97 were deals. In comparison, they're not nearly as expensive. So, and I thought that wine was great.
Absolutely. It was beautiful. Yeah. Well, and then the other one that I picked out was this 03 Arajo Estate Eisele Vineyard Syrah. $100. Like I didn't think that was crazy either. And let's see, this 09 Dariush Signature Shiraz Blue Label, $40. We've got 2 of those. There's a bunch of cool Turley at prices, like 101 lots of Turley. And it was actually Turley that had the Cabernet Sauvignon that
I did see those. Yeah, there's multiple vintages of it too. It's good.
Yeah. There's just some really, really cool stuff there. Lots of new bedrock, like a ton of bedrock as well. 98, lots of bedrock. Corzon mags, which we had a mag of Corzon this last week. So there's some 87 Corzons that are in the auction. And then
the 87, so that's expensive, 230 for that. Those are rare. Those are hard.
Those are rare. You can get an 07 mag for 270, an 08 mag for 200, an 09 mag for 180. So like the mags are fairly reasonably priced. 93 CV Cabernet Sauvignon for 80, I picked. And a 98 Whitehall Lane Cabernet Sauvignon. We have 3 of those at 35. One has a bid taking 36, but I just had an 01 Whitehall Lane Cabernet Sauvignon that was amazing. So delicious. What did I miss, Paul?
Well, I was talking about, we had mentioned that Zinfandel from Raffinelli that got bid up. There's a 79 in this week, which I was really excited to see. I didn't even know they were making Zinfandel in the 70s, but sure enough, there's a bottle in for 75. That'll probably get bid up because it's pretty rare. Let's see. I don't want to call it second label, but sort of off, completely separate label. The owner of Reese launched called Eris, where they plant varieties across different regions. So in Italy and also Sonoma. And there's the white and the red. I think the whites and reds are mostly all from Sonoma County. But anyway, they're quite a bit cheaper in most cases anyway than they are at the winery. And there's the 18 Centennial Mountain Rico Rosso it is for $30 for 6 of those. I thought that was a great deal. So it's very good too. Had the whites and the reds from Italy and California. They're delicious. There's a kind of a little known, no longer in existence label that Mike Smith used to make called Ancillary. It's a really good Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. And there's some of those in 15 San Giacomo Vineyard Pinot Noir for $30. Another good deal. So there's quite a bit of Becklin, which is very expensive wine on a mailing list. But I thought that the 17 Molds Family Reserve Cab for $56 was a great deal. It's got a bit on it, obviously. Yeah, you mentioned there's a whole bunch of Bedrock and some wines I hadn't seen before, including this Arreo Evento e Amor label. And there's some other interesting labels there that I'm not familiar with. A couple old bonds in from '01, so 20-plus-year-old bond, which is, it's not cheap. And of course, it's hard to find, but those wines long lasting and very good. Carlisle as well, winery apparently is going away, and there's quite a bit of it. Some great deals there in the 25 to 40 range, tons of great deals. There's a bottle or a few bottles of Seritas Hellenthal Pinot Noir came in this week. It's good wine, more sort of traditional, classic, leaner style, but quite good. Crocker Star Cabernet Franc, some other Cabernet Francs besides that Pride that I thought were pretty good deals. But the Crocker Star I thought wasn't bad for $70. There's a few of those. $94 Volley popped in this week as well. It's kind of a rare one. I wonder how that's drinking. There's some Dietrich Cabernet Sauvignon, which is really, really nice parcel of Oakville right behind McDonald's Vineyard. They're actually relatives of the McDonald brothers. They're cousins. Anyway, they make some great Cabernet, really good Cabernet Franc. Napa Valley Cabernet is excellent too. And $80 for the 18. I thought was a good deal. Raj Par's wines in this week, the 13 Domaine de la Côte Pinot Noir. One of those popped in at 120. There's some Emilio's Terrace, Sophie's Rose. I believe it's Cabernet. I don't know if it's 100%, but anyway, an older Oakville label that I don't think is around anymore. But I always grab these because they're really good deals, especially from where the fruit's grown. There's a bunch of Fontanella, another label you don't see. It's kind of like a mailing list only and restaurant only. I think the winery, you can buy it from there too. But anyway, not a lot around. And there's 13 Mount Veeder Cab for $40, which I thought was a great deal. I thought about grabbing one of those because I've never tasted this wine, so I'm curious. A 90 Grace family popped in, another rare one. A bunch of Hansel, including some of the designated Chardonnays. Prices are fair for those. 03 Harlan came in. The Havens Black and Blue came in. This is a Central Coast winery that actually Black and Blue, I think, was like the first label made with Sine Qua Non and Havens when the Sine Qua Non label was launched way back when. But anyway, Havens continued to make that particular wine. One of those popped in. It's kind of fun to see. $35 for that. 83 Heights Martha's came in. There's some Honata, including some of the Sangiovese, which I think is quite good. And $35 for Honata Sangiovese. That's a steal. Some Kongsgaard, some La Serena Magnum, which that's Heidi Barrett's own label, Cabernet. And let's see, the 96 Mag is at 170. I thought that was quite fair. There's a 3-liter 86 Laurel Glen Cab. We don't see very many of these large formats, hardly at all. So that was pretty cool to see. Like you said, tons of marks. And there's some older Mayacamas, and then let's see, early 90s, which I thought was still pretty reasonable. 91 Cabernet for 170. Some Philip Togny, some old Mondavi Reserve, 79. That's in really good shape. 84 as well. Some older Silver Oak, including 78 Alexander Valley Cab. And there's a full case of 81 Bonnies, which I thought was quite cool. We don't see those very often. There's some Tusk Estates, a couple vintages of that, which is very hard to get, mailing list Cabernet. And then Ulysses Cabernet 19. So that's Christian Wex's project north of Dominus in Oakville. Cabernet, it's quite good. Anyway, those were my picks from California.
Is that all? Is that it? That's all you had?
That's all I got.
Let's go ahead and go through the rest of the United States pretty quickly. We'll hit up Oregon and Washington. Then maybe should we take a quick jaunt around the world before finishing up on France?
Okay, sounds good to me.
Let's do it. So I'm going to speed through Oregon and Washington. 92 Domaine Drouhin Pinot Noir, which I thought was cool. There's $90. There's a ton of these.
Wow, I didn't see that. Huh.
Yeah, a ton of these Hayu wines.
It's funny because we either see like a big old batch of them or nothing at all. There's this week there's a whole bunch of them.
A bunch of them from Oregon and Washington.
All over price range too, all over the place.
All over the place. Tons of Cayuse this week. I had also picked out 2010 Corliss Estate Cabernet Sauvignon for 60, 2016 Figgins Estate Red Wine for 65, 06 Owen Road Dubreuil Vineyard Cabernet Sauvignon for 20, this 17 Avenia Sestina for 45, and then 2019 Kobayashi Weather Eye Syrah for 60. Well, at 61, it's got all three of those have bids. I'll let you mention two wines from the Pacific Northwest, Paul.
Well, yeah, no, you mentioned pretty much everything. The Hayu wines are actually very interesting to see because like all different, styles and varieties there. The horsepower wines I did want to mention. I actually looked it up, and some of these are less than half the mailing list cost. I should say like the high contrast Syrah, I think is at 80, and I believe there's Sir Echelon Syrah from 18, which I think on the mailing list is like over 120, and the reserve is 55. So, and there's multiple bottles of these. There's quite a few. Very interesting, very tasty wines, and way less than winery costs. The Kobayashi Komaya too, I did want to mention that. I've been watching this vineyard, and I talked to our colleague Paul Swanson about some amazing stuff up there. So it's that wine's up to $66 now. So there's a lot of action on that Kobayashi Syrah. So we'll see what happens next week. But yeah, I'll stop there.
Should we head over to Italy? There's some really cool stuff from Italy in this week. I think it's worth. We haven't given Italy a lot of love recently.
No, there's always like phenomenally great wines. We just never get the chance to talk about everything. So
yeah, let's go through Italy really quickly. Piedmont, 88 Bruno Giacosa Barbaresco Galline di Neve for 285. This 06 Gaia Lange Sori Tilden for 310. We also have a bottle for 330 if you want to pay more for the same thing. 07 Partatore de Barbaresco Ovello Reserva for 100. There are two of them. 09 Porto Reserva from Partatore de Barbaresco for 60. There are three of those. 88 Luciano Sandrone Barolo Canubi Boschis for 375. Woo! Not cheap, but I'm sure that's stunningly delicious with that much age on it. 07 Clerical Arte Mag for $70. I thought that was pretty cool. And then we've got an 09 Clerico Barolo Siabot Mentine Ginestra for 55. An 08 Elio Grasso Barolo Gavarini Vigna Cineria for 125. There are six. 96 E Pagliari Rhone Barbaresco Page for 115. There are two of those. 04 Cavalato Barolo Brico Boschis for 75. Two bottles, the 09 Elio Altare Barolo Arborina for $85, and then a 2013 Giovanni Manzone Barolo Castelletto for 50. What did I miss?
No, you called pretty much everything out that I picked out. Those Chicosas look fantastic.
They look so good.
Yeah, and 85s. $800, man, for that Colina. That's serious. But yeah, there's a 3 liter of Cavallotto in as well, which don't see too often in this big format, especially Cavallotto. So that caught my eye for sure. And then some nice older Aldo Conterno wines, but great lineup.
Great lineup. Some really cool stuff from Tuscany as well. The 83 Sassicaia for $295. I thought that looked interesting. 2013 Casanova Denari Brunello di Montalcino for $55. Or you can get the 2010 Casanova Denari Brunello Montalcino Tenuta Nuova for $220. But $55 for the 13 seemed like a pretty decent deal, to me.
Not bad.
No, not bad at all. 08 Sette Ponti Toscana Oreno for $70. There are two of those. '07 Fattoria di Felsina, Fontoloro for $45. We have 9. And then I thought this was cool. This 1995 Altesino Brunello di Montalcino, Montosoli.
Montosoli 5 liter.
5 liter for $7.35.
Very cool. I don't think we've ever seen one of those before. So yeah,
no,
that's a neat bottle.
No, very neat bottle. This '07 Tenuta Caparzo Brunello di Montalcino Reserva, 2 bottles, both with bids at 56 now, up from 55. 2010 Pieve Santa Restituta Brunello di Montalcino Renina for $150. That's a Gaia bottle. 11 Eisele Olina Separello, $80. This '07 Podere Salicuti Brunello di Montalcino Piagioni for $70. 95 Lessini Brunello di Montalcino for $90. '06 Gianni Brunello Montalcino for $50. '08 Castello di Bossi Corbai for $35. And this '06 Fossacole Brunello di Montalcino for $40. But like a lot of stuff like under $100, good amount of age on it. 2010s, early 2000s, 90s, 80s. Like there's just some really cool stuff in Tuscany.
Yeah, absolutely. No, great deals for sure. A lot of rarities. So yeah, you found all the ones I was going to mention.
I found them all in Umbria. We've got a bottle of this '01 Lamborghini Campoleone. Yeah, for $50. And then an '01 Sportoletti Villa Fidelia Rosso for $35. I have no idea what that is. And then we have an '02 from Veneto, '02 Giuseppe Quintarale Rosso del Beppi for $165. That was pretty cool. In Campania, there's a couple bottles of Monte Vetrano.
Sure.
An '06 and an 2011. The 11, one of them has a bid. They're $40 and $35 respectively.
Yeah, it's great wine. It's really, really good.
Some cool stuff from Germany, actually.
There is.
A bunch of cool Jojas Prum, including in 1983. I thought this '05 von Schubert, Maxmin, Grünhauser, Absberg, Riesling Spätlese for $35 look cool. There's a bunch of Fritz Hag, 04 Selbach Oster, Zeltinger, Sonnenur Riesling Spätlese for $40. 83 Bert Simon Herrenberg, Seringer Herrenberg Riesling Eiswein, 375 milliliters, so half bottle for $40. I mean, a 41-year-old bottle of ice wine for $40.
Yeah, it's amazing. There's like quite a few 83s in from Germany this week. It's like some birth year or anniversary or something. There's a '06 Joseph Leitz, Rutzheimerberg, Schlossberg Riesling, Baron Auslese, Magnum for $120. An '85 Jost Christoffel Jr. Erdner, Prelat Riesling Auslese Gold Capsule. 3 stars, number 12 for $50. Actually, there's a bid on it, so it's 51. Just a lot of cool Riesling this week. No, definitely. A lot of Donhoff and, classic producers, like you said, JJ Prum, 83 Ausleses, and
just really cool stuff.
I don't even know. Baron Auslese, there's an 83 Joseph Friedrich Zeller, Burgundy, Phelps, and Baron Auslese is actually half bottle for $70. I didn't think it was too bad. So lots of fun things. Let's
go to Spain really quickly. '08 Vega Sicilia Allion for $140 with 3 of them. We have the '94 Vega Sicilia Unico for $650. If you want the Unico and are willing to pay a lot more, I'll bet you that's pretty amazing wine. '01 La Rioja Alta Gran Reserva Mag 904 Mag.
Yeah, I flagged that. There's another vintage of it too, right? There's like a 97 or something.
Yeah. The '01 has a bid taking it from 260 to 270. And then there's a 750 bottle of it, which has a bid as well. And then, we had a mag of the '04 as well.
Oh, the '04. Okay.
The 2016 Bodegas Mugo Rioja Prado Aneja Gran Reserva for $60. That's a pretty good deal for the Muga Aneja Gran Reserva, Prado Aneja Gran Reserva. 1982 Marques de Riscal Rioja for $100. I'm sure that's amazing. '01 Bodegas Uva Guerra Palomero. I'm butchering all of that for 55. Right. So I thought that was really cool. '07 Pago de los Compañías Tinto Reserva for $30. '04 Bodegas Coral Don Jacobo Rioja Gran Reserva for $30. '18 Bodegas y Vineros Castro Ventosa Bierzo. Okay, I'm give up. $60. All this stuff, I think a lot of stuff under $100, really cool, reasonably priced.
True. I agree with you there. There was another Spanish wine that caught my eye because I'd never seen the label before. It has this kind of Romane Conti sort of 3D font to it, O Tesoro, and it's 100% Albarello. So anyway, that was one that stood out. I'd never seen before from Valdeorras. 12.5 alcohol on it too, so it seems relatively lean. But anyway, interesting wines for sure. A lot of cool stuff from Spain.
Well, let's take a look at Austria, where we've got a 1993 Nikolai Hoff Gruner Veltliner Magnum with a bid on it, take from 180 to 190.
That's a rare one, right? Magnums of Gruners. You don't see those every day.
You don't see those every day. I thought that was super cool. And it's from 1993. I thought that was really neat.
That's freaking great.
An '07 Weingut Schloss Gobelsberg Gruner Veltliner Eiswein.
Yeah.
Half bottle for $50. And then they've got an '05 Riesling Trockenberry Auslese, a half bottle for $50 as well.
Interesting.
Those were cool. Hungary. Are you hungry for some Hungarian wines? Because we've got 4 bottles, 3 bottles of Tokai, a 94, 500 milliliter for $70. A 79 half bottle for $40 and a 79 half bottle for $45. So I thought those were really cool. And then this bottle of 1976 Ferdinand, Pierroth, Bingen, Sandor, Falva, Alexander Dorfer, Ausbruch for $55. It almost looks German.
Yeah, because Pierroth is a German producer, so it's Hungarian wine made by German winemaker. So it's Hungarian Spätburgunder. Well,
and what's interesting to me is that it looks like it's saying something about West Germany, imported by West Germany.
Yeah, because Pierroth is a big German producer, and so that's
product of Hungary. Yeah, that one was really interesting. And I think the cool part is like 76. So that was when Germany was still divided, right? So it was being imported from communist Hungary. Was Hungary communist at that point?
I don't remember. I'm definitely not a history expert, certainly not a wine expert. So.
It's a great question. Maybe somebody can reach out and let us know. Switzerland, 2014, Luzius Busch family, Mainfelder Blauburgunder for $25. We have one of those. And then Liechtenstein is in auction this week with a 2002 Hofkellerei des Fürsten von Liechtenstein Pinot Noir Vaduzzer Herrenwingert for $20.
My goodness. All right. Well, you found a lot of things this week.
I dug deep. I went all the way to Liechtenstein. In Canada, there's a 1991 Inskillen Vidal Eiswein half bottle for $45. That was pretty cool. South Africa, an '01 Meerlust Rubicon for $65. And I thought that was really cool. And then in Australia, we got a few bottles of Grange that have come into auction.
Yep.
I saw this '04 Two Hands Bella's Garden Shiraz for $60. I've had it. That's beautiful wine. '06 Mitolo GAM Shiraz for $35. And then I thought was really cool. There's a bunch of these Peter Lehman Barossa Botrytis Semillons, half bottles from the 80s, like 86 half bottle for 20, 87 for 20.
That is cool. Yeah, it's hard to find.
Just really, really 94. And they're all $20, right? Those are really neat. Anything I missed?
No, I think you covered it.
I covered it. I'm going to go like super duper fast. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
We're starting with Bordeaux this week.
You can just name vintages and producers. You don't have to like name prices.
I won't name prices. 85 Lynch Bage, 76 Decam, 82 La Maison Aubryon.
Yeah, the 82 La Mission was in just recently. So I think this reserve must be where it was, when it last hammered. So it's creeping up a bit because it's still actually a decent deal.
No, yeah, it's still a decent deal. And by the way, that 76 Decam, we also have a 67 Decam and a 90 Decam. The 90 Decam is back. That one is amazing. We've got 61 Montrose, 83 Pichon Lalande, 96 Liovo Barton, 89 Angelus, 82 Colin Magnum, which already has a bid on it, taking it to 380.
Yeah.
2000 Obali, we have two of them, 90 Riesec, 82 Figeac, 82 Bechevel, 86 Talbot, 2000 Malscott Sonic Supre with a bid on it already, 89 Canon, 2009 Tessier Les As.
Yeah, Les As. This wine is weird. I don't know this Chateau Tessier because there's been a little bit of it in recently, but I don't know the producer very well.
No,
have you had this wine? I haven't had this wine.
Me either, but I was reading about it and the tasting notes look really good.
I got huge Parker points.
Yeah, huge Parker points. 85 La Fleurie Paraguay, Paraguay, and then 05 Chateau Girard half bottles, all inexpensive. 76 Chateau Coutet, 05 Chateau Bordeaux. Chateau Bordeaux.
Bordeaux, yeah.
Bordeaux. 01 Chateau Latour Blanche. Already has a bid on it, taken to 51. 89 Doisy Vedrines for 55. We have two of them. 05 La Croix Saint Georges. 01 half bottle of Chateau de Malais, and a 1971 Rhone Vineyard.
The Sauterne selection this week is crazy.
Dude, the Sauterne is like 01s, 9. Like the Sauterne selection is amazing. There's so much.
Yeah, because it reminds me of just a few weeks ago, we had a bunch of, I would say, younger vintage half bottles. A lot of them got bid up because they were so cheap. But then this week, everything is 20 years and older, and they're from phenomenal vintages. It's like 88 Lafroy Perrier half bottles. There's three of them, 25 a piece. I mean, 01 Lafroy Perrier half bottles are 35. And that's just, and 01 is, unbelievably great vintage for Sauterne. Yeah, Latour Blanche 01, 750s at $51. So just phenomenal selections of Sauterne. There's 80. I saw there's 81 Decam half bottle also. I don't even recall seeing 81 that long ago. Better grab it, Jeff. 01 Demal, you mentioned half bottle, 25. 83 Defarge, 80. And I think there's multiple bottles of some of these different lots as well. 88 Darche. That's right. I was trying to think of the other Darche that was in the auction. It's 88 this week. Half bottle at $20. Yeah, so just, great vintage Sauternes across the board. Nairac won $20 for half bottles. Yeah, Raymond Lafont 88 and 83. Just amazing collection of Sauternes.
I was actually having this conversation with someone recently about should you buy Sauterne en premier? And look, if you just want to have it and hold it, that's one thing.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, if you want to taste it over time and see how it progresses.
Sure. But realistically, Sauterne just continues to be such a good deal, even, with 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years on it. You can still find stuff that's
what kind of wine that's 20 years old can you get for $20 a bottle? I mean, it's nothing. It's actually, very, very good. I mean, again, they're half bottles, but still $20 a half bottle for anything 20 years old, regardless, is a great, great deal.
No, it's a phenomenal. I mean, look, but even the Chateau Coutet, the 76, $55. $55 for 750 milliliter.
It's phenomenal. And yeah, 71 Rhone Vigneault is $90. That's a great deal. I mean, still, there's just all under $100.
All under $100.
They're all great.
Let's head over to Burgundy. I'm going to
Yeah, I know. There were a couple of dry red Bordeaux. I think you passed over. I just did want to mention real quick. 86 and 2000 Mouton. There's a case of 89 Montrose, which is pretty amazing. And I think you mentioned the 61. 89 Lynchbach came back in this week. Bottle looks amazing. 16 Level Lascaux 6-pack. So you got to buy the whole 6-pack, but that's available. And then let's see, 98 Aubryon popped in this week as well. 82 Béchevel, I can't remember if you mentioned that or not. And then 89 Angelus also looks very, very good to me. And 99 Patrice as well.
Awesome. Burgundy. I'm going to go quickly through Burgundy. 2020 Cocherie, Auxey Duracess.
Yeah.
We also have the 21 Marcel Rouge. That's only 320. 83 Auspices de Beaune, Cuvée Syrah, Chaudron, Élevage Citron. 1996 Joseph Drune. 1983, 60 bucks. 96 Joseph Drune von Romani, only 90 bucks. Like, there's a lot of like very reasonably priced Burgundy in this week. So I'm mentioning some of the prices. O2 Vincent Girardin Charmes Chambertin. O2 Domaine des Lambres, Classe des Lambres Magnum.
Clos Lambre Mag. Saw that.
Clos Lambre Mag. 08 Marquis d'Ange Vivonnet Claude de Duc. We have 9 of those. 09 Domaine de Vaugirard. Gevry Chambertin for 50 bucks, 6 of them. 1999 Claude Dugat, Griot Chambertin. 2010 Remoissenet, Perret and Phils, Gevry Chambertin for 80 bucks. 09 Michel Lafarge, Volnay, Claude Deschênes, and then in 01 Hubert Lignier, Maurice Saint-Denis, Premier Cru Villevine. Those were some of the ones I picked out. What did I miss, Paul?
Yeah, no, the kind of eclectic range of vintages this week for sure. And in Burgundy, there's Bachelet Bourgogne at 90 bucks is, it's kind of high, but I think that's not surprising for such a great red vintage. Yeah, there's also Cocherie. There's a Meursault from 1721, and then Enseigneur, Poulignon Montrachet Enseigneur 21 as well, with the prices to match, as you can imagine. 05 Romanée Conti Richebourg snuck in. There's some Roumier 12 Chabot-Musigny Village. Let's see, 09. Actually, yeah, there's quite a few Pavlo wines, but I thought the 09 Pavlo Sauvignon Les Bonnes Les Dominoes for 30 bucks for a half bottle. I thought that was a great deal. Be able to try something with a little bit of time on it. It's got a few years on it, and it's in half bottle size and 30 bucks. Everybody's asking for affordable red Burgundy, from great vintages or even not great vintages. And there's a perfect example. Sauzet, Pouligny Montrachet, Champcanet, 09 in for 145. Yeah, nice selection of Volnay from Donchevy and Lafarge. Groffier, Chabot-Musigny, Sentier is in this week as well. The 2000 vintage for 200 bucks. So yeah, fun selection of Burgundies this week.
Fun selection of Burgundies. Let's jump down to also in Burgundy, Beaujolais. 2010 Clos de la Roilette, Greffet du Marquis Fleury Villevine.
Oh yeah, this wine looks excellent. It's the Fleury, Old Vines Fleury Griffe du Marquis, which has like a wax top. It's like a fancier bottling, I think, than their other wines. And
yes, and it's got bid. It already has a bid on one of them.
There's a couple, right? There's a couple lots of it. There's not just one, I think. So yeah, that looks great. And that's a great deal. It's a great deal. 40 bucks. 2011 Julien Sunier Morgon, and this 2011 Domaine Jean-Claude Lapalou, Brûlé, Lacroix de Ramieux. Yeah.
That's exactly how I pronounced it.
Exactly. Yeah, there's Lapierre and there's Lapierre Morgon, and there's also Metras Moulin Avant. I saw the 2012 at 50.
Yes.
Some sought after Beaujolais for sure.
Let's go over to Champagne. 96 Tangier.
Great wines in Champagne.
96 Tangier Blanc de Blancs. Already has a bid too. 96 Tangier.
That's great wine. That Comte de Champ. I haven't had it's probably been 10 years to be honest, but really, really, really good. This wine was really good. So
non-vintage Cedric Bouchard in Florence. Florence.
Inflorescence.
Inflorescence, Blanc de Noir. I was going to ask you about this wine.
Well, I thought it was actually fairly reasonable considering a lot of these Bouchard wines that because it has an older disgorgement date, right? It's from 14, I think. So it's at least 10 years old as far as base vintage is concerned. It's probably more like 12. But yeah, no, I didn't think it was a bad deal at all, considering a lot of them were going for over 300, especially rosé and other things. But
yeah, for sure. O2, Pierre Peters, Blanc de Blanc, Le Mesnil, Cuvée Spéciale.
Yeah, the Chatillon. Yeah, that's a sweet bottle. I think there's O4 in as well, which is just amazing. But yeah, the Magnum of O2 Chatillon for 840 that's a serious one.
Very, very serious one. This 1990 Laurent Perrier Brut. I thought that was cool to see a 1990 Laurent Perrier Brut.
I wonder if this will get. We've seen some of these like bigger house champagnes get bid, especially like the older multi-vintage examples. But I wonder if this one will go anywhere because it's already kind of expensive, but we'll see what happens.
I mean, look, the last time we sold this, it sold in June for 170. So, sorry, June of 2023. So it's been a year. I would be a little surprised if it got bid up, although probably nothing should surprise me these days. 1990 Vilmartin C, Brut Premier Cru, Grand Cellier Ruby. And then there's a bunch of these Christophe Baron bottles in large format.
Well, not surprising considering all the Cayus that's in auction. So it looks like somebody who's a fan of Christophe Baron in general bought a ton of Cayus and decided to sell it along with his champagne. So
along with his champagnes, getting rid of everything. And then there's the O2 Varnier Fenerier Grand Vintage.
Fagner, yeah, Varnier Fagner. Yeah, that's a rare one. I bet that gets bid up because we don't see a lot of Varnier Fagner anyway, and this is from O2, so more than 20 years old. So
cool stuff. Anything I missed in Champagne?
There's a 95 Charles Heidsieck, the Blanc de Millénaire, which has been creeping up, I think, in recent years. 235, there's a couple of those. There's an O2 Marc Hébrard Magnum for 180, I think was too bad. And you mentioned the Cuvée, the rubies from Vilmar. But yeah, really, really fun champagnes this week as well.
Really fun champagnes. From Corsica, we've got this 19 Domaine du Vaselli Ajaïco Rosé, which one of them already has a bin on it for 20. It's 20.
Oh, the Ajaccio. Yeah. I saw that.
Ajaccio Rosé. I thought that was cool. Provence, there's a 6-liter of 05 Chateau de Tabernon Bandol in OWC. For 560. That was pretty cool. And then in Provence, there's not much. There's a few bottles of Domaine Huet Vouvray, some Bernard Baudry, François Chandane, and some Essay Huet Vouvray, Cuvée Constance, half bottle for 120. Oh, and some 11 Cotat. Sancerre, Chavagal, La Grande Côte.
Yeah, I picked that, the Grand Côte.
That's the
Delvaux Côte de Léon. This one was in actually just recently, I think, maybe a different vintage, but anyway, there's 04 Delvaux Côte de Léon.
Yes, I saw a couple bottles of the
$30, yeah, for 500 milliliters, so it's not a bad deal.
Yeah, actually 4 bottles of the Delvaux. Sorry, 2 lots, 4 bottles.
Oh, 2 lots, okay.
Yeah, $30. Let's finish it off really quickly with the Rhone. 2000 Boucassel, Chateauneuf de Pape Blanc, Villevine, 85 Gugal Côte Rôtie, Brune at Boulogne, 89 Chapoutier Hermitage, La Cizeron, 1990 Jaboulet, Année, Creuse Hermitage, Domaine de Talabert, already has a bid on one of Mari's bid on it. We've got a few bottles of those. 2009 Domaine de Pagao, Chateauneuf de Pape Cuvée Reservé. 1990 Rias, 1990 Rias is actually one
Foncelet and the Chateauneuf Reserve.
And the Chateauneuf. I picked out a couple bottles of the Clos de Pape, the 2010, and we got a 3-liter of the 11, which I thought was really cool. And it was like $300 for a 3-liter, which I thought was a killer deal for Clos de Pape. 2010 Clos Saint-Jean, Chateauneuf de Pape Villevine, 04 Auguste de Clap, Cornat, 09, Pierre Seglio, Chateauneuf de Pape Cuvée, Monte, 01, Domaine JPNJL, Jamais, Côte Rôtie, 09, Levé, Côte Rôtie, La Chavaroche, 2010, Gerard Chavin, Chateauneuf de Pape, 2010, Domaine des Charbonnières, Chateauneuf de Pape, Les Hautes, Brusquets, Cuvée Spéciale, and then in 01, Jean-Luc Colombo Cornat La Louvet.
Yeah, there's multiple vintages of the Colombo Cornas, actually. There's
Yes.
09 and there's 10 as well. There's some Guillaume G Cornas. It's got a bid on it. 09 for 71. 85 Gigot Côte Rôtie and 2 popped in, $200 for that. There's some older going on. 08 going on Saint Joseph. 01 Jamais is not cheap at $350. It's not too surprising. But then on the flip side, also in the northern Rhone, there's some Domaine Forêt Saint Joseph 2012 for $35. And then there's the Forêt Saint Joseph Blanc 2010 for $25. So those are some good deals. But yeah, a lot of interesting things in the Rhone this week.
And with that, keep in mind, everything we mentioned is at auction and you can go bid on it until 7 p.m., July 28th, 2024 Pacific time. You can bid on this stuff. And we're even going to give you a code to get $15 off a $150 purchase this week only. The code is PARAGON, PARAGON. And with that, this has been Jeff McGurn and Paul Walker wishing you happy bidding and cheers.
Cheers.